Ladies and gentlemen, in a world where distractions are abundant, the greatest challenge is not keeping up, it's staying true to yourself. The power to lead, to create, and to inspire begins not out there, but here, within. Focusing on yourself is not selfish, it is essential. Like the roots of a tree must grow deep to support its branches, your internal growth determines your external impact. Clarity over complexity is a principle that emphasizes the importance of simplicity and focus in understanding yourself and your purpose. In life, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the multitude of paths, options, and opinions that surround us. The modern world thrives on complexity, constantly bombarding us with information, expectations, and noise. But amidst all this, the ability to distill what truly matters is what sets extraordinary people apart. To achieve clarity, you must start by peeling away the layers of distractions. Many of us carry the weight of societal pressures, what we should do, who we should be, and how we should act. These external voices often drown out the internal one, the voice that knows your truest desires and purpose. The process of focusing on yourself is about tuning into that internal voice and giving it the attention it deserves. This leads to the release of polarizing desires and purpose, and rewriting the tarot. Clarity demands that you ask yourself the right questions. Who am I really? What do I value above all else? What motivates me to keep moving forward? These are not surface-level inquiries. They require deep, intentional introspection. Without this foundation of understanding, you risk pursuing goals that aren't even your own, leading to frustration and burnout. It's also important to recognize that clarity isn't a one-time achievement. It's a practice. Life is dynamic and circumstances change. Clarity requires consistent self-check-ins, a willingness to adapt, and the courage to recalibrate when needed. It's about cutting through the unnecessary and focusing on what aligns with your core. When you embrace clarity, decisions become simpler. It's not that the choices themselves are easier, but the criteria for making them become more apparent. You begin to prioritize what aligns with your vision and let go of what doesn't, creating a life that feels lighter and more intentional. Clarity gives you direction, and with direction, you find momentum. The beauty of clarity is that it doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't require you to have all the answers immediately. Instead, it encourages you to focus on what you know now, to act on it, and to trust the process of refining your understanding as you go. By choosing clarity over complexity, you empower yourself to live authentically, to grow meaningfully, and to create impact that feels true to who you are. Progress over perfection is a mindset that emphasizes growth and continuous improvement rather than an unattainable standard of flawlessness. Perfection often paralyzes us, trapping us in cycles of doubt, fear, and procrastination. The pursuit of perfection creates a rigid expectation, one that leaves little room for creativity, experimentation, or learning. Progress, on the other hand, celebrates the journey, allowing you to grow step by step. Choosing progress means acknowledging that mistakes are not failures, but essential parts of learning. Every misstep teaches you something new, providing insights you wouldn't have gained if you had waited to get everything just right. This mindset shifts your focus from avoiding errors to embracing them as opportunities for development. Progress is also about consistency. Small, deliberate actions taken consistently over time lead to significant change. You don't need to take massive leaps every day. Instead, taking manageable steps forward builds momentum. It's about showing up even when you don't feel ready or inspired, because action, no matter how small, moves you closer to your goals. Perfection, by contrast, is static. It assumes there is a single right way to do things, leaving no room for adaptability or flexibility. It's rigid, often disconnected from reality, and discourages risk taken. Progress, however, thrives on adaptability. It allows you to adjust your approach as you learn and grow, making it a dynamic and empowering process. Another important aspect of prioritizing progress is the impact it has on your self-esteem. When perfection is the goal, you may feel like you're never enough because the target keeps shifting. But when you focus on progress, every step forward becomes a reason to celebrate. You begin to recognize your own efforts and achievements, building confidence and resilience along the way. Progress also fosters a growth mindset, a belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed with effort and perseverance. This perspective opens doors to innovation and creativity because you're not constrained by the fear of failing. You begin to take risks, explore new possibilities, and discover strengths you didn't realize you had. Focusing on progress over perfection creates a sense of freedom. It allows you to start before you feel ready, to act without having all the answers, and to trust that the process will guide you. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, you realize that the act of moving forward creates its own momentum. Progress isn't about arriving at a destination. It's about committing to the journey, learning as you go, and embracing the imperfections that make growth possible. Self-awareness is the foundation upon which personal growth and success are built. It is the ability to understand your own thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and motivations, and how they influence the way you navigate the world. When you cultivate self-awareness, you unlock a wellspring of potential that might otherwise remain hidden. One of the most powerful aspects of self-awareness is that it helps you identify your strengths and weaknesses. Many people go through life with a vague sense of what they're good at or what holds them back. Self-awareness brings clarity. It allows you to recognize your unique abilities and leverage them to achieve your goals. At the same time, it helps you confront your limitations, not as insurmountable obstacles, but as areas for growth and development. Self-awareness also deepens your understanding of your values. Your values are the compass that guides your decisions, but without self-awareness, you may find yourself following a path that doesn't align with what truly matters to you. By reflecting on what you value most, whether it's family, creativity, integrity, or something else, you create a sense of direction that is deeply personal and meaningful. Another significant benefit of self-awareness is improved emotional regulation. When you understand your emotions, you gain the ability to respond to situations thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. And for example, recognizing when you're feeling frustrated allows you to pause, reflect, and choose a productive response instead of letting the frustration control your actions. This emotional intelligence strengthens relationships, reduces stress, and fosters a greater sense of inner peace. Self-awareness also enhances your ability to set and achieve goals. When you're clear about your motivations, you can set goals that resonate with your authentic self, rather than pursuing objectives dictated by external expectations. This alignment between your goals and your inner self increases your determination and resilience, making it more likely that you'll persevere when challenges arise. In addition to personal growth, self-awareness enhances your interactions with others. When you understand your own needs and communication style, you become more attuned to the needs and styles of those around you. This empathy creates stronger, more meaningful connections, whether in personal relationships, professional settings, or leadership roles. Perhaps most importantly, self-awareness fosters a sense of ownership over your life. When you know who you are and why you do what you do, you stop being a passive participant in your own story. You take control, making intentional choices that align with your goals and values. This sense of agency fuels a deeper confidence in your ability to create the life you desire. The process of cultivating self-awareness isn't always easy. It requires honesty, vulnerability, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about yourself. But as you peel back the layers, you uncover the potential that has been there all along, waiting to be realized. Self-awareness isn't about perfection, it's about progress, growth, and the powerful understanding that unlocking your potential starts with understanding yourself. Note, boundaries are often misunderstood as barriers or walls that separate us from others, but in reality, they are the structures that create healthy, meaningful connections. Setting and respecting boundaries allows relationships to thrive by fostering mutual respect, clarity, and understanding. Boundaries are not about shutting people out, they are about making space for authentic, intentional interactions. When you establish boundaries, you create a framework for how you want to engage with the world. This process starts with recognizing your own needs, limits, and priorities. Without boundaries, it's easy to overextend yourself, leaving little energy for the people and activities that truly matter. Boundaries give you the power to protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being, ensuring that you show up as your best self in every interaction. One of the key ways boundaries empower connection is by fostering trust. When you communicate your boundaries clearly, others know where they stand with you. There's no ambiguity, no guessing about what is acceptable or unacceptable. This clarity reduces misunderstandings and creates a foundation of mutual respect. People feel safer and more secure in relationships where boundaries are established and honored. Boundaries also help prevent resentment from building up in relationships. When you say yes to things that compromise your well-being or values, you may feel drained or frustrated, even if you don't express it outwardly. Over time, this can erode the quality of your relationships. Setting boundaries allows you to say no when necessary, freeing you to say yes wholeheartedly to the things that align with your values and priorities. This authenticity strengthens your connections with others. Another significant aspect of boundaries is that they encourage personal accountability. By setting limits, you take responsibility for your own needs and actions, rather than expecting others to read your mind or anticipate your feelings. This self-awareness and ownership inspire others to do the same, creating relationships built on equality and mutual effort. In addition to strengthening individual relationships, boundaries enhance your broader social dynamics. When you establish what you are willing to tolerate and where you draw the line, you create an environment where mutual respect becomes the norm. Whether in friendships, family, or professional settings, boundaries promote healthier, more respectful communication and reduce the likelihood of conflict. Boundaries are also a form of self-respect. By honoring your own needs and limits, you set an example for others to treat you with the same level of respect. People tend to mirror the way you treat yourself, so clear boundaries signal that you value your time, energy, and emotional space. This not only benefits you, but also teaches others how to engage with you in a way that is positive and constructive. Finally, boundaries give relationships room to grow. By defining the terms of engagement, boundaries create a space where honesty and authenticity can flourish. They ensure that connections are built on mutual understanding rather than obligation or guilt. This space allows people to come together not out of necessity, but because they truly value the relationship. In essence, boundaries are not limitations, they are enablers of deeper connection. They provide the structure needed for relationships to be genuine, respectful, and mutually fulfilling. Authenticity is one of the most powerful forces behind true influence. It is the ability to be genuine, to show up as your true self, and to lead from a place of honesty and integrity. In a world where so many strive to fit into predefined molds or project a certain image, authenticity stands out. It creates a magnetic pull that inspires trust, respect, and loyalty. When you are authentic, you align your words, actions, and values. This alignment creates consistency, which is essential for influence. People are naturally drawn to those who are real, those who say what they mean and do what they say. Authenticity eliminates the facade, making interactions more relatable and meaningful. It shows that you are not trying to impress or manipulate, but are instead focused on connecting and contributing. One of the reasons authenticity is so influential is because it fosters trust. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, whether personal or professional. When people sense that you are being genuine, they are more likely to believe in you, listen to you, and follow your lead. Authenticity communicates that you have nothing to hide, creating an environment where others feel safe and understood. Authenticity also amplifies your unique strengths. When you embrace who you truly are, you stop trying to emulate others and start leveraging what makes you different. This individuality is what sets you apart and makes your perspective valuable. By being unapologetically yourself, you demonstrate courage, which in turn inspires others to embrace their own uniqueness. Influence grows when people see you as someone who leads by example, not by imitation. Moreover, authenticity creates emotional resonance. People connect deeply with stories, emotions, and experiences that feel real. When you share your struggles, vulnerabilities, and victories honestly, you give others permission to do the same. This vulnerability doesn't make you weaker, it makes you more human and relatable. Authenticity shows that influence is not about being perfect, but about being real and willing to share both successes and setbacks. Authenticity also drives long-term influence because it builds relationships that are rooted in genuine connection rather than transactional interactions. When people feel that your intentions are authentic, they are more likely to support you, advocate for you, and remain loyal over time. This creates a ripple effect where your influence extends far beyond your immediate circle. Being authentic doesn't mean you will please everyone, and that's part of its power. Not everyone will align with your values or perspective, but authenticity attracts the right people, the ones who resonate with your message and vision. This alignment creates a stronger and more impactful influence as it is built on genuine connection rather than superficial appeal. Finally, authenticity gives you the resilience to sustain influence in the face of challenges. When you are true to yourself, external criticism or adversity doesn't shake your foundation. You know who you are and what you stand for, which gives you the confidence to stay the course. This unwavering sense of self inspires others to do the same, creating a cycle of empowerment and trust that amplifies your impact. Authenticity isn't about being perfect or trying to meet others' expectations. It's about embracing who you are, aligning with your values, and showing up with honesty and integrity. When you do this, you naturally cultivate influence because people are drawn to what is real, consistent, and meaningful. Comparison is a natural human tendency, but when left unchecked, it can become one of the greatest barriers to creativity. In a world where we are constantly exposed to the achievements, successes, and lives of others, it's easy to fall into the trap of measuring ourselves against them. However, this act of comparison often stifles creativity rather than inspiring it, as it shifts focus away from originality and onto imitation or self-doubt. And when you compare yourself to others, you often see only a curated version of their journey, the highlights without the struggles. This incomplete picture can create unrealistic standards, leading you to question your abilities or feel inadequate. Creativity, which thrives on confidence and freedom, is crushed under the weight of these comparisons. Instead of exploring your unique ideas, you become preoccupied with measuring up, which limits your willingness to take risks or experiment. Creativity requires authenticity, and comparison undermines it. Your creative voice is unique, shaped by your experiences, perspectives, and imagination. However, when you constantly look outward for validation or inspiration, you risk diluting your originality. The desire to mimic what has worked for someone else can lead to work that feels derivative or lacks depth. True creativity emerges when you trust your voice and allow your ideas to flow without the need to fit a certain mold. Moreover, comparison creates a fear of failure. When you view others as benchmarks of success, you may hesitate to try something new out of fear that your efforts won't measure up. This fear is paralyzing, preventing you from exploring the very uncertainties and unknowns that often lead to the most innovative ideas. Creativity flourishes in an environment of openness and experimentation, not in one constrained by the fear of judgment or inadequacy. Comparison also fosters a scarcity mindset. It suggests that success or recognition is limited, creating unnecessary competition. When you focus on what others have achieved, you may feel that there's less room for your own ideas or contributions. This mindset discourages collaboration and sharing, both of which are essential to creative growth. Creativity thrives in abundance, where ideas are freely exchanged, built upon, and celebrated without the shadow of envy. On the other hand, creativity demands a deep connection with your own inner world. It requires you to tune out the noise of external expectations and tune into your own thoughts, emotions, and ideas. Comparison distracts you from this process, pulling your attention outward and away from the internal clarity needed to create something original and meaningful. Breaking free from comparison allows you to embrace the creative process as a journey rather than a competition. It shifts your focus from achieving outcomes that align with others' successes to discovering what resonates with you. This mindset fosters curiosity and experimentation, which are the lifeblood of creativity. When you stop looking at others for validation, you gain the freedom to explore uncharted territories and take creative risks without fear. Creativity also requires resilience, and comparison weakens it. The more you compare, the more you internalize a sense of inadequacy, which can make setbacks feel like confirmation that you're not good enough. However, when you focus on your own progress, you build resilience by learning from failures and celebrating incremental improvements. Creativity is not about being better than others. It's about continuously growing and evolving in your own unique way. Ultimately, creativity is deeply personal. It comes from the parts of you that no one else can replicate, and its power lies in its authenticity. Comparison, with its tendency to reduce creativity to a contest, distracts from this truth. By stepping away from the cycle of comparison, you give yourself permission to fully engage with your creative potential, unburdened by the need to measure up to anyone but yourself. Resilience through introspection is the process of building inner strength and perseverance by reflecting deeply on your experiences, emotions, and responses to challenges. In times of adversity, it's easy to focus on the external factors that seem beyond your control. But true resilience is cultivated from within. Introspection allows you to better understand your reactions, learn from your mistakes, and develop the emotional fortitude to face future struggles with greater confidence. When you engage in introspection, you are essentially stepping back from the noise of your surroundings and tuning into your inner world. You take the time to process what you've experienced, understand your emotions, and reflect on how you've handled situations in the past. This self-awareness is a powerful tool for building resilience because it allows you to identify patterns in your thoughts and behaviors. By understanding these patterns, you can make more intentional choices moving forward rather than being governed by automatic reactions. One of the key benefits of introspection is that it helps you reframe challenges. When facing difficulties, it's easy to fall into a mindset of victimhood where you feel powerless or overwhelmed. However, introspection allows you to shift your perspective. By reflecting on past obstacles you've overcome, you realize that struggles are a natural part of growth. This shift in mindset helps you see adversity not as something to be feared, but as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. Through introspection, you also develop a deeper understanding of your values, beliefs, and motivations. This clarity creates a solid foundation for resilience because when you are clear on what matters most to you, it becomes easier to persevere through difficult times. Your core values serve as a guiding light, helping you navigate through uncertainty and stay grounded when external circumstances challenge your sense of stability. Introspection also encourages emotional regulation, a crucial aspect of resilience. When faced with adversity, it's common to experience a range of intense emotions: anger, fear, frustration, or sadness. Without the ability to process and manage these emotions, you may act impulsively or lose sight of your long-term goals. However, by engaging in introspection, you create space between stimulus and response, giving yourself the time to evaluate your emotions and choose a measured, constructive reaction. This emotional intelligence enables you to maintain your composure even in the face of stress or adversity. In addition, introspection helps you build a sense of self-efficacy, the belief that you have the ability to influence the course of events in your life. When you reflect on past challenges and the strategies you use to overcome them, you begin to recognize your own strength and resourcefulness. This self-belief is a cornerstone of resilience. The more you internalize your own capacity for overcoming obstacles, the more confident you become in your ability to face whatever comes next. Resilience through introspection also fosters a sense of agency. It's easy to feel like life is happening to you, but introspection allows you to reclaim control over your narrative. By examining your choices, actions, and reactions, you realize that while you cannot control everything around you, you can control how you respond. This sense of agency empowers you to take responsibility for your life and move forward with purpose, even in the face of difficulty. In times of hardship, introspection can also bring clarity about the importance of patience. Resilience is not about bouncing back immediately or pushing through without pause. It's about enduring the process of healing and growth. Introspection teaches you to honor your own pace, acknowledging that personal growth takes time, This understanding helps you remain patient and compassionate with yourself as you work through challenges, knowing that each step forward is progress, no matter how small. Finally, introspection strengthens your ability to find meaning in difficult experiences. When you reflect on past struggles, you can often uncover insights or lessons that you might have missed in the heat of the moment. These lessons provide not only wisdom, but also a sense of purpose and motivation, helping you make sense of adversity rather than simply viewing it as a setback. Meaning making is a critical aspect of resilience because it gives challenges a sense of value, transforming hardship into a source of growth and empowerment. Resilience through introspection isn't about avoiding pain or pretending that challenges don't affect you. It's about using self-reflection as a tool for growth, understanding, and empowerment. By looking inward and learning from your experiences, you can build the mental and emotional strength needed to face life's challenges with grace and fortitude. Your value is not something that can be determined by external circumstances or the opinions of others. In a society that often measures worth through achievements, status, or material possessions, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that your value is contingent upon these external markers. However, the truth is that your inherent worth is not defined by what you do or what you have. It exists simply because you are you. Your value is your victory. Your victory is your vision. External validation can be fleeting. The praise, recognition, or approval you receive from others can feel good in the moment, but it is often temporary. When your value is tied to these external sources, it becomes vulnerable to changes in opinion or circumstance. If the external validation stops, you may find yourself questioning your worth. The truth is, no one can truly determine your value but you. It is internal, rooted in your unique being, your values, and your contributions, rather than in how others perceive you. When you look inward for validation, you tap into a deeper, more resilient sense of worth. This internal sense of value is unshakable because it is not dependent on factors outside of your control. It is not influenced by external judgments or the standards set by society. Your value is constant, unchanging, and independent of how much you have accomplished or how others see you. It's a reflection of who you are at your core, the integrity of your character, the kindness you show others, and the love you give to yourself. Recognizing that your value is not external allows you to break free from the constant need to prove yourself. You no longer have to seek validation from achievements, titles, or possessions. You are free to pursue what truly matters to you without fear of judgment or criticism. You can create, express, and live authentically, knowing that your worth is inherent, not dependent on external measures. This sense of self-acceptance enables you to make decisions that align with your true desires and values, not those dictated by societal pressures or other people's expectations. When your value isn't based on external sources, you become more resilient in the face of failure or criticism. Instead of allowing setbacks to define you, you view them as opportunities to learn and grow. You understand that mistakes are part of the human experience, not a reflection of your worth. This resilience comes from the understanding that your value is not determined by your successes or failures, but by your willingness to keep moving forward, learning, and evolving. Your inherent value is also tied to your ability to connect with others from a place of authenticity. When you understand that your worth is not external, you can give without expecting anything in return. You don't need to prove your worth through your relationships or social status. Instead, you form deeper, more meaningful connections based on mutual respect, understanding, and kindness. Your value, in this sense, is reflected not in what you take from others, but in what you offer them, your genuine presence, compassion, and support. This internal understanding of value also shifts the way you view others. When you recognize that your worth is not external, you begin to see others through the same lens. You no longer judge them based on their accomplishments, possessions, or status. Instead, you appreciate their inherent value, seeing them for who they are rather than what they have achieved. This shift in perspective allows for more genuine and compassionate relationships, free from comparison or competition. Living from a place where your value is internal shifts your focus from seeking approval to self-acceptance. It frees you from the exhausting cycle of trying to meet external expectations and opens up the space for self-expression. You begin to realize that your worth does not need to be earned or validated by others. It exists within you at all times, waiting to be acknowledged. Understanding that your value isn't external also encourages personal growth and self-improvement, not for the purpose of gaining recognition, but to align more closely with your authentic self. It becomes less about trying to measure up to others and more about becoming the best version of yourself for your own sake. This sense of intrinsic value fosters a greater sense of fulfillment, as it allows you to pursue growth that is meaningful and true to who you are. Ultimately, when you internalize the belief that your value isn't external, you shift from a life of seeking validation to one of deep self-awareness and fulfillment. You realize that your worth is innate, constant, and not contingent on the external world. This understanding liberates you from the pressures of comparison and competition and allows you to live authentically, grounded in the truth of who you are. How do you to me? In conclusion, the journey to personal growth and success is deeply rooted in the understanding that true power lies within. As we focus on ourselves, we discover the clarity, resilience, and creativity that come from within. Our ability to stay true to who we are, set boundaries, and cultivate self-awareness strengthens our foundation. By embracing authenticity, we become more influential, and by rejecting the need for external validation, we unleash our true potential. Each of us has a unique value that cannot be defined by outside influences. Through introspection, we build resilience, confront challenges with courage, and develop the inner strength needed to move forward with purpose. The process of looking inward allows us to stop comparing ourselves to others and instead embrace our own journey, understanding that our value is constant and unwavering. As we move through life, let us remember that true success does not come from external markers, but from aligning with our inner selves, trusting our abilities, and growing in authenticity. By focusing on who we are rather than how we are perceived, we create lives of meaning, connection, and fulfillment, driven by a deep, unshakable understanding of our own worth.